Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Artfully Yours podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be exploring and discussing how, and comparing millennials and Gen Z on how they influence and navigate through the digital world. So in today's episode, we got an advertising student who is a senior, Lena. Welcome to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So you're currently a student studying in AUD,
Correct.
and you're about to graduate. And as you're graduating, I suppose you're experiencing like the first-hand, experience, and like you're going to the real world. And I assume that you're already like into the digital world already. So if like you can share some of your insights with us, like how did you first enter like this advertising world? What inspired you? Like what exactly happened?
So my journey throughout advertising was very random. I didn't know that I'd be in advertising, but when I started advertising, it was a bit hard to get used to the advertising, to get used to drawing, to get used to thinking in a different way, exploring in a different way. So the university gave me a good experience to look in a different way, to look at ads in the industry in a very, very different way. And especially the internship, it provided me a hands-on experience of different aspects of advertising, so that was a plus as well.
Okay, so because of you mentioned that you had an internship this year, so I wanted to ask you, in the internship, obviously like you have people that are already like interns as you were, and you have others that are more experienced. So what's one thing you notice that's different from you and the other employees there? If you can explain more about it.
Well, other people there, like senior art directors, creative senior art directors, they always think in a different way. They always think in a very advanced way. They teach you to think in an advanced way. They teach you to always explore, to experiment, to push, to always look at other advertisements as your inspiration, as your reference, and then create something from scratch. They love creating something from scratch, so they want to teach you that, and that's great. They really, really focus on teamwork and collaboration in each and every brief, so that's always a plus as well. And they teach you how to overcome the tight deadlines. They teach you how to they teach you how to cope with the clients, because their needs constantly change whenever you work with them.
So, like they're more of like a serious kind of.
They're serious, but they're playful most of the time. So they like to be fun, and they like to have the work as fun, and they really enjoy the work. If you don't enjoy the work in the advertising world, then it won't be coming from your heart. Your work won't be coming intentionally or naturally.
So as you entered, did you like was there something that grabbed your attention about a stereotype that you heard about millennials in general?
Well, not exactly, but from my vision and from what I observe about millennials, they're always like professional. They always seek for future goals. They always put their goals as their focus, and they really focus on work-life balance. So I don't see anything else regarding that.
So they're more organized, basically.
Yeah.
Like we're like all over the place, you know?
Exactly,
Like
we're all over the place.
Generation.
They're more like organized. They like to put their objectives 1, 2, 3, not like us. We
we're just like we do whatever we want. Okay, so now that we briefly compared both generations, I just want to go back and I just want to know your like early inspirations, like how you got like where you are now, because obviously you're a fourth year, so it's like you've had enough experience, and now you're gonna show the world like what you can do.
Exactly.
So like I wanted to ask you, was there like a particular event that happened in your life that made you really sure like I want to pursue this as a career for like the rest of my life?
Well, I'd say that mostly in the first year of me enrolling in this university, they first teach you the developed courses where you start drawing, you start everything from scratch. That was the hardest part, and this was the place where, do I really want advertising or not? But I went for it and I really loved it, and it was a great idea, and I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
Oh my gosh, the drawing classes made me really like doubt myself. Like, am I for this thing? Like, was I made for this thing or not? Like,
100%. And then you see other people drawing very professionally.
Yes, and then you get inspired. You're like, I'm gonna be one like them in one of those.
100%.
So was there like any challenges that were like actually an obstacle for you that you had to overcome, or just like stress and?
Well, learning new things are more of like a challenge to you, especially you always want to do them in the perfect way. You always want to be perfect in your work, in your designs, in your creativity. You want to share everyone your creativity. You want to tell everyone about your work. But then when people tell you criticisms, they give you critiques, then you think that, oh, I'm not enough, and other people are getting less critiques, or maybe you observe very differently. Then you'd look like, oh, am I made for this or am I not? Will I continue pursuing this or not? So this is the point where it makes you stronger, it makes you confident more about your work and about your creative journey.
Okay, that's really great. That's really, it's such a great insight. So now I wanted to ask you, like, because of like we're based in Dubai, and it's in my opinion, Dubai is becoming this technological city that's currently it's evolving like day by day. So I wanted to ask you, before we jump right into the topic, I wanted to know, like, do you think, where do you fit in all of this? Where do you fit in all of the technological development?
Well, it's not as a hierarchy to be fit in or not. It's more of like if you are experienced, or if you do know about those such programs that are evolving now. For example, like Midjourney, if you are well experienced or not, you can be experienced, you cannot be, but you still learn them. Throughout your life, you tend to learn those automatically, especially like the Adobe creative tools. You don't know most of them, you don't know how to use them, but then you learn to use them.
But with
time.
technology and like
Exactly.
having access to everything,
Exactly.
you can go on YouTube, you can go on like Behance, Pinterest, you can learn tons of. That's I can relate to you, honestly, I can relate. So we already talked about like the different approaches in between millennials and Gen Zs. So now I wanna know, like, was there any differences in like the strategies or like the way they think, like the creative process, like how does it differ from us?
Well, the millennials are mostly, as I mentioned, they're serious. They're mostly focused on their future. They want everything to be in place at the right time, at the right place. While us, we're still discovering ourselves. We still explore what we want or not, because throughout our stages in university or in life in general as Gen Z, our personal preferences, they tend to change. Unlike the millennials, they are stuck to one thing, they are aiming at one thing. Us, we aim at many different things, and they tend to change from time to time. So I see that in terms of creativity, millennials, they are not as creative as the Gen Z right now. Gen Z, they like to put colors, they like to put shapes on top of each other. They like to discover, what will this look like? Or how will this look like? How will this help me? Or they tend to critically think, while millennials, they're mostly like traditional most of the time.
So based on that information, I think it's obvious which one of the generations they're more of like risk taking. So we're like, Gen Zs are more risk takers, obviously, like with everything going on. Okay, so who do you think out of both generations that had the most influence in the advertising world?
Well, I think creatives, they might be more interested in advertising and in other programs such as advertising in the same field, because it's where they can express their thoughts, their creativity. It's where they can put and implement all of their thoughts on a digital tool. It's where they can show people how do they think, or how do they explore, or how do they visualize. So it's more of like a freedom for them.
And can like both generations learn from each other?
Definitely. Because in the internship, when I was there, my manager used to learn from me, and I used to learn from my manager.
Really?
So it was a great
That's actually
experience.
really
It was a two-way conversation. It was a two-way engagement. So it was great, and I learned a lot from them, and they learned a lot from me.
I wanted to know, now that we're compared like both generations, and we learned about you as well, we learned about your background. We want to know, as an excelling student in AUD, what are some of your advice for students that are after you? You know, like what is this thing that you feel like you wanna tell students about? Just like as a like great advice, just to like be an excelling student as you were.
Well, in advertisement, or in advertising in general, and in the visual communication, in my opinion, you have to always have time management. You have to always focus and put all of your efforts into something. If you love it, you're gonna put unintentionally your effort. If not, then you'd have to see what do you like or what do you not. You have to explore many different stuff. So I think that's my opinion. And other than that, you get all of your creativity out. Show everyone what do you like and what do you not. Show everyone how do you visualize anything. Because nothing is wrong. There is no right or wrong in advertising. There is just thoughtfully or implementing your ideas into a digital.
It's just being creative, but at
Being
the same
creative.
time, just being like creative on the right track.
Exactly,
basically.
100%.
So that's our time, guys, with Lena Dahil. Thank you, Lena, for your insights.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like share it with people around you, you know. And for more, and until then, until our next episode, stay creative and